let's talk about Ulysses. How did you come up with this idea?
The actual first part of the story came from a dream, and it was
Hmm.
just this little seed of a story that really the main focus of it was this keen feeling of rejection. And so I kind of just started this word or stream of conscience, just story. And then as I was writing, more fantastical elements came in, and all of a sudden it was like, okay, well, what kind of world would these things happen in? And so it was very much a progression into what it became, and instead of it being like I had it very formed in my mind beforehand. And so yeah, it was very much a journey for myself too, realizing how big
Right.
the world was going to be in the story.
I mean, it really was a big old world, but it sort of came from this world, didn't it? So can
Yes.
you kind of, because, it has this dystopian element, but then it has this utopian element. So how did this all come about?
Yeah, I absolutely love being able to just make stuff up.
Yeah.
I probably will never write historical fiction because you have to deal with facts, and that
Hmm.
is I can't be
Yeah.
trifled with things that actually happened in reality. And so
Love it.
I love just being able to sit at my computer and literally make up, whatever I want to. And so, being able to go into this world and be able to make up the science behind it. And in the world, I wanted it to be able to be destroyed so that I could make something brand new. And so in the world, this nuclear war destroys everything, and then out of it grows this utopia. And I wanted to really play with and experiment what if the world could be everything that the world wants it to be, if there really was world peace, and if there
Mm.
was no climate problems, and if there was, no war anywhere, if like we got everything that we ever wanted as humanity and we reached that apex, well, what problems would we find there? I think a
Interesting.
lot of worlds in this genre are dystopian, and then everything is in chaos, and then it's trying to find order from chaos. And I think I wanted to go in and do the opposite, is what chaos can we find in the order? And so yeah, it was really important to me that instead of the world being collapsed, that it had been rebuilt, and essentially the world had done everything that it was meant to do. If you go to Genesis 11 and read the story of Babel, they were all able to come together and have one language, and they were trying to build something. And then the Trinity is there, and they say, because humanity is so united, nothing they propose will be impossible for them. And so that's what I wanted to do, was to create that world, that those people at Babel, they had accomplished it, that
Mm.
nothing that they proposed was impossible for them. But then what because we are broken, what would that end up looking like, even if all those desires were achieved by humanity?
Yeah, and I think it's a really fascinating insight. And one of the insights that I really took away from the book was there was no God in this new world. They'd
Mhm.
sort of abolished God in a way, but no one really understood that. But there was
Yeah.
this innate desire amongst a few to actually meet their creator. So was that
Yeah.
something that you wanted to bring out through the story? Because it sort of became more and more obvious as the story went on.
Yes. We are so prideful as people, and I don't even just mean, the world, even as Christians, we just are so convinced that we know, and
Mm.
that we know the right way, and that we really don't need anybody outside of ourselves. And so this world where people, not just, to that nothing we propose will be impossible for us, that even went into like, now they have these supernatural abilities, and they're able to do things that a natural person can't do. And so in the book, they see themselves now worthy of worship, because if deities before were worthy of worship because they could do that which humanity cannot, and now humanity can do it, we can worship. So I really just wanted to push into how far would our pride really take
Mm.
us,
Mm.
and if we really were in control of our destiny, because some of the characters, have gifts where they can control time, or they can heal sickness, and just all these things that in our life right now feel so out of our control. Well, even if we had it in our control, would there still be something missing? And I truly believe, and I'm sure you do too, that yes, that there would be, because we were meant to have a relationship with our creator. And
Mm.
so a lot of the characters, I let them be exactly what humanity is, which is just like, I don't need anybody, I don't need anything. And I specifically have one of the characters really struggle with the fact that the one is looking for a creator because he's like, you don't need anything outside of yourself. What a silly desire that you have. But I know that there is no, even if everything was, again, quote unquote, perfect, that we would long for more because we were created for more. And so
Mm.
I think, again, I just wanted the world to be everything that we would want it to be and then show, yeah, we just still long for that relationship with the divine because we're not.
Yeah, I love it. Now this is a big book. It's one of a number that are about to come out. How long did it take you to write the book? And I was fascinated at the. Sorry, I've got two questions here. So, how long did it take you? And then, secondly, at the end of your book, you thanked Jesus and you talked about how if it wasn't for him, it may not have happened. So, can you talk about both of those things?
Yes.
Yeah.
So the technical answer is that it took 13 years to complete the project. I don't know that I would say it took 13 years to write. In
Mm.
between all that time, I had 4 kids
Oh my
and
goodness.
moved. And so much. I was homeschooling for so many years, so a lot has happened in those 13 years. But I would say at least the last four, in particular, I've been working with Torn Curtain Publishing here in New Zealand, and we have been pushing towards publication. So I think that I feel more comfortable saying it's been a 4-year process, but technically I did start writing it 13 years ago and
Okay.
have been working on it. All my kids were babies and toddlers and stuff.
Wow.
And so, yeah, so it was a really long project. And in that time, there was so many times that it would have been really easy for me to quit because I didn't really share with people. I mean, people knew that I was writing, but it wasn't a journey that I was sharing with anybody.
Mm-hmm.
So if I had quit writing, nobody would have known, nobody would have
Yeah.
cared because I hadn't welcomed anyone into that space. And the only person there with me really was the Lord. And there was a couple times where I did want to just like put it on the shelf and be done and really felt the Lord pushing me to tell this story. And so in that acknowledgement specifically, it was this moment where I was like, okay, I'm done. Like literally I'm done. I want to move on to other stories. This one is just too complicated. It's too big. It's too messy. And so I told the Lord, if you give me these plot pieces, like if you help me fit it together, I'll continue on. But if you don't, like I'm legitimately done.
Wow.
And in like a week's time, he just kept downloading all of these things that was like, oh, that's it. That's what I'm
Wow.
missing. Or like, oh, that's how they connect. And so that was such a cool moment, a part of book one. But then I've been working for 2 years on book two. And specifically in the last 2 months, I've been really pushing myself to get my publishers, a manuscript. And I gave myself this very unrealistic deadline. And so every day was this very intense work day where I had a
Wow.
lot to do.
I
And so
bet.
I was waking up at 6 a.m., which is not normal for me, and going on a walk with the Lord and be like, these are the scenes that I'm working on today. You have to come help me. And
Wow.
on these walks, I really just felt like the Holy Spirit would just like empty my mind and like help me work out these plot lines and how things came together. And so even more so than book one, I feel like book two really has been so collaborative with Jesus. And
Wow.
I'm just so excited because he's obviously the best storyteller. And if you're going to get coaching advice from somebody, it would be the author of our faith.
Wow.
And so yeah, it's been so fun to write book two with him.
Well, honestly, I finished book one. I loved it. I
Thank
cannot
you.
wait for book two now. So, I mean, I hate
Oh,
to
good.
ask this. I hate to ask this, but when is it coming out?
I know we're very ambitious over here.
Yeah.
So we have ambitious timelines, but we'll see. We gotta have it go through the team and see if everyone's on board with that.
All
But
right.
yeah.
I won't push. Don't you worry. Hey, last thing I wanted to ask you. There was a little mention of New Zealand. I won't say where in the book. And I
Mhm.
was like, hang on. Why is she mentioning this country? Is there a connection with New Zealand or is it your publishers or how did this happen?
No, ironically enough, I have just always loved New Zealand.
Mm-hmm.
And it's always been somewhere that I've wanted to go. And the culture, the history, just so much about it. And so when I wrote that scene, because these characters were really able to go, that scene could have happened anywhere in the world. And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
well, I want it to happen in New Zealand just because it'd be fun to go on the map and look at where things are, because it
Mm-hmm.
was happening by a library, or I'm sorry, a museum. And so I was looking through museums. And so, anyways, I had put that scene in there. And then when my editors had gone through it the first time, they were like, oh, this scene is in New Zealand. And I was like, oh my gosh, I forgot. Oh my gosh, that's so embarrassing. Did I do it right? Like, is the museum in the right spot? And so thankfully they were able to go in and look. And then that round I went in and changed the character's name to actually my publisher's names.
Oh, is it right?
And so, yeah, so it's Anya and Jeff in there, when they had different names beforehand. And so anyways, yeah, so that scene was really special because it was before I even started working with them that New Zealand had been so special to me. So this really is amazing being able to be here.